ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Kari Mansion. My name is Inky, and today is another day for MoreParz, a YouTuber and now friend of mine who has inadvertently filled my brain with more knowledge about Australia and other deadly things in the world than I ever thought I would really want to. Because if I gotta be honest, I would rather live in ignorance of not knowing that there would be wild creatures, plants, and everything known to man that could possibly end my existence. But apparently you guys enjoy me finding out about that stuff far more than I enjoy knowing about it. So I guess I've really got to put it into perspective. What do I enjoy more? Do I enjoy the engagement and the general algorithmic benefit of getting easy views and funny hee-hoos of watching a MoreParz video? Or do I enjoy not knowing about things that would make me scared of going outdoors? Well, by the fact you're probably watching this video, you probably already know the answer to that question. So I guess we're just going to get in and watch something that's going to give me an existential crisis. Then, folks, it's been a fair while since we watched some MoreParz, which means there has been a collection of new MoreParz videos that have been released, which gives me a prime opportunity to have some easy indulgence. It's also a fun little story that, since we first started watching MoreParz videos, and I don't want to be, I don't want to come across like I'm snide or anything, but I'd like to believe that I was one of the first people to glamorize reacting to this individual. Not saying that I set the trend or anything, but I totally did. Happenstantially, MoreParz has dropped into my stream on more than one occasion, and we might kind of be sort of pseudo-streamer friends now, which is kind of a weird paradoxical world to live in, where this seems to happen more often than I'd like to imagine. You sit there and watch a video from someone, and then they find out you exist, and then you become a voice actor, like I did with Helldiver vs. ODST, or you become friends with the person who made those videos, much like with MoreParz, or you get Takahata coming into your stream asking why you sound like him. One of those funny and weird, wild things that happens. But parasocial existence for MoreParz aside, this is more MoreParz for our enjoyment. So let's see what the man's been helping the world become aware of over the last few months. Starting with this one. And it's muted.
The world's fastest chicken. Yeah, this is the...
That doesn't look like a chicken. The chickens I know go blah, blah, cluck, 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 and generally don't tip their waiters when you kick them out of the restaurant. I'm talking about British people. I'm talking about British people.
Tasmanian native hen. Except no.
Are you role-playing me? Paz, are you role-playing me? If you wanted a voice actor for this, you could have just asked, the Tasmanian native hen, darling. One of those creatures that may look like elegant and all that sort of thing, but really is but the bottom scrapings of the genetic gene pool of Mother Nature. Yes.
No one fucking calls it that shit. We call it the turbo chook.
Turbo chook.
This bad boy is from the land down under. More specifically, it's only found in my home state of Tasmania.
Okay, you know what? I started this by saying that MoreParz has made me aware of things in this world that give me an existential crisis of never wanting to go outdoors. But likewise, he's also made me aware of the fact that there are animals in this world that actually make me look intelligent. I've always been led to believe that I am the lowest common denominator when it comes to the intelligence factor of this universe. But having seen some of these animals, the world is also filled with goofy shenanigans that also make you realize that if you step outside, you are basically rolling a D20, whether you run into something that's going to cause you to disintegrate, dissolve, be infused with neurotoxin, or laugh your ass off because the walrus decided your car looked like more of a comfortable bed than the ocean. Still.
Mania. And as you may have guessed by that nickname, Lightning McChicken here is built for exactly one purpose. Speed.
I am speed.
But before I address it violating the speed limit, I've
Survival
got to
Instincts
address the
101.
fact that it's a fucking fraud. So despite that name, it is not remotely related to a chicken.
How dare you! This isn't a problem with the freaking bird. This is a problem with the Aussies that discovered it. You lot trying to name things that are otherwise terrifying with cute little whimsical names to try and hoodwink people into thinking they're not actually going to tear you a superfluous new behind. Don't think that I don't know that this hen, just because you've named it something cute and adorable. Okay, now that I know the paradigm for this, with Australia's crippling addiction of naming horrifying creatures with cute, whimsical names. By the fact that you've called this thing a hen, how's it going to eat my children? How's it going to eat my children? Anytime Australia names something cute, it usually means it's diabolically deranged. And anytime you name something deadly or scarily, it's actually usually supposed to be kind of cute and adorable. Which honestly was also the same metric that I go by. Inky sounds like a cute name. But spend enough time around me and you get absorbed into biomass. I see Australia took my method of naming things.
It's actually from a family of
Lure
waterfowl
them in.
called rails.
Convince
It's
them that
around
it's
50
innocent and
centimetres
safe.
long,
And then
tips the
boom,
scales at a
you're
kilo and
good.
a half, and importantly, cannot fly for shit. In fact, it is
Pathetic.
completely flightless, and that is a little bit of an issue.
Oh, what's wrong, little chicken? You can't fly? Man, sucks to be you, buddy, because, slime girls? We fly now. We fly.
Because this is Australia, where at any given point, this mobile KFC bucket is a rock's throw from a fucking snake.
Oh, it's the little
There we go.
guy!
Sonic the Hedgehog.
God, I love snakes. Fun story. I used to own a corn snake when I was younger. Like, at the ripe old age of 18, I was the edgy kid in my college who had a snake. And I noticed that distinctively, before I owned the snake, people said I was autistic and cringe. But when everyone found out that I owned a snake, suddenly everyone wanted to talk to me and want to know what my snake was like. Wait, in hindsight, I think they might have been hitting on me.
Didn't trade in that pilot license for nothing. See, they still have wings. They just don't use them to fly. They use them as a spoiler, because when threatened, they don't fuck off into the clouds. No, Hen Racer here just drops gear into first, punches the throttle, and fucking tears off at 52 kilometers an hour.
Chat, this is something you should all strive to be like, because 52 miles an hour would almost be enough to get yourself away from a hungry yandere that's just seen you got some muffins in your pocket.
I don't think you understand how fucking insane it is for something the size of a chihuahua to break the speed limit in a school zone. So
Something to be said that having exotic animals as your native wildlife or as a pet in your world acts as a great pickup line and opportunity for aura farming. You know, when Aussies start hitting on people, I can only imagine that, you know, you might not be the most aligned with the person you're hitting on, and they're like, you're like a 5 out of 10 kind of thing. But then you say you're from Australia, and instantly you're given that level of respect because, damn, dude, you got that survival skill. You live in a country where everything wants to kill you and you've survived? That's kind of hot.
let me make a comparison to Australia's other flightless bird, the one we lost to war to. Emus are 2 meters tall.
Dude, I don't know what's happened. Ever since I watched the original emu video that he made, the emu war has come up in my timeline so often. It feels like the Australian emu war is the default theming that a lot of YouTubers will go to for easy views. Much like how I resort to watching Legends of Evantris, Skibbity Toilet, or MoreParz when I want some easy engagement. Other YouTubers will happily go out of their way to make a video depicting the emu war to be like, yes, clickbait.
And when they run, they cover 3 meters per step. That is a total of
Jesus.
6 whole native hens per single emu footstep. So you would assume the emu gaps the fucking hen, right? Wrong. Hen Verstappen and the war turkey are the same speed.
What?
How the fuck?
Jesus Christ. Once again proving that Australia has some of the wildest and wackiest animals on the planet.
This isn't a snake.
What?
It's a bug.
Oh, it's one of those weird bugs that has like a defense mechanism where it's like pretending to be something else. It's like a worm or something, right?
Yeah, this is the very creatively named Snakeheaded
Dude,
caterpillar.
evolution
Found
is
wriggling around
wild.
in South America, and the reason they're dressed up like the average Australian resident is to scare people. See, caterpillars exist for exactly one reason: to spin up a cocoon and Pokemon evolve into a moth or butterfly.
Moth. Moth!
Now,
Brother, I require lamp!
in order to achieve this, they need to be not fucking dead, which is
Uh-oh.
a little difficult when everything under the sun is trying to eat them.
Mission failed.
Birds, wasps, spiders, frogs. You know.
I have a very, I have a shameful skill with my voice where, you know, I'm a voice actor. I can do many different spectrums of the registry. One of my shameful skills is to...
Hello, my name's Mr. Frog. I ate the bug. Goodbye. Hello. Hello, I'm Mr. Frog.
You name it, they all look at a caterpillar as the world's freest meal. I mean, it's basically a sentient, slow-moving hot dog with zero escape strategy. So, how does the very hungry caterpillar avoid the very hungry everything else?
By mimicking the thing that's gonna eat it. Admittedly, the diabolical urge to pick up one of these caterpillars and use it to threaten your friends would be hysterical. Like, yo, dude, check it out, I'm the snake whisperer. Holds out the caterpillar. Oh my god, that's a fucking... Wait, why is it a disembodied snake? What the... Buddy, did you dismember a snake?
Hello.
Well, some choose camouflage.
It's like he knew I was gonna react to this. It's like he knew that I was gonna watch this and make my own impression of it.
Hello. Hello.
Well, some choose camouflage, others become more toxic than a league lobby. But the snakehead chose cosplay. Well, if you want to get technical, the scientific term is mimicry. As we've established...
Actually, it's called mimicry. No, Matt. Nah, mate, it's called I'm gonna get fucking bitten by something, and I'd rather it be the mimic of a snake rather than an actual one, because one of them's gonna make me deader than a doornail, and the other one's gonna make me shit myself regardless.
Caterpillars are weak, light work for their predators. You know what isn't light work? A fucking snake. Which is why when threatened, these little guys will force air and blood into their head, causing it to inflate. They then...
Dude, I love how pyrocynical. You know, so most furries, they never really go mainstream. Pyrocynical might be one of the only content creators who has much like how I have supplanted the stereotype of being a VTuber and managed to work my way into non-VTuber audiences. Pyrocynical has somehow elevated himself above the furry fandom while still accosting himself to being a furry, but also now being the punching bag of the internet for anytime somebody mentions inflation. Which is fucking funny.
And shake that shit in the air, perfectly mimicking a venomous snake. Whatever was about to eat them sees their free meal turn into fucking rattlesnake Jake, becomes shit scared, and runs the fuck away.
I mean, it looks really disturbing.
Why are you running?
You know, now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah, why are you running? I'm just a little snake. I'm just a little snake, a little slippery snake. Guys, so when a caterpillar inflates itself up and gets all big and scary, you run away. When I inflate myself and get all big and scary with two snakes coming out of my spine, you see that as a reason to want to hug me. Weirdos.
its entire defense is just becoming a scary, wacky, waving tube man. This...
Ah! Oh, I know what bilby is. I know these creatures.
Australia doesn't have the Easter Bunny. We have this thing.
That Pokemon!
You see, after the first Easter Bunny was clapped by a snake 5 minutes into his Down Under egg run,
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
his replacement took one...
I love how like her response of seeing that is absolute sadness and depression. My response is hee hee.
Look at Australia, said, and I quote, fuck that, which is why we have the Easter bilby.
Yo, look at that little guy!
Yes, this cute little...
Ah, yes, a creature designed not to fight everything, but to run the fuck away. A cross between a mouse and a kangaroo. Because as everything in Australia has taught me, it's either going to look like a fucking snake, have multiple legs, or take an inspiration off of the kangaroo.
Kangaroo rat is a real animal, and he is way better suited to the job than that fuck-ass rabbit. First off, bilbies are marsupials, which means they've got a pouch for carrying around their kids like a kangaroo. But the mobile daycare also gives them extra inventory slots for Easter eggs, compared to the rabbit, who I can only assume is hiding the eggs up his fucking ass. They can also deliver your chocolate across the Australian desert without dying in the heat. Because those big-ass Dumbo ears basically work as a car radiator, dissipating their body heat in order to cool them off in God's air fryer.
Goes to oh, I'm burning! I'm burning!
But most importantly, the Easter bilby
Something tells me
is
that
doing
Parz has
his
been playing some
part
Team Fortress 2
to
recently.
save his species. Here's a fun fact for you. In Australia, rabbits are cunts.
You can't just jump out here.
You mean just in Australia? Look, bunnies may look adorable, but they are the brat of the universe. Like, you think that they're all friend-shaped, and sure, they might be friend-shaped, but just because they're, like, bunnies took the Australian paradigm of naming themselves something really adorable, looking adorable, but having the personality of a Karen.
They are an invasive species, and they fuck up the environment by mowing down all...
Dude, how many invasive species does Australia have? Even by the default wildlife you guys have over there, you can't, you get screwed over by your default wildlife, but even the wildlife that comes over to accidentally live in your country ends up becoming more, like, what's the word? Native. Like, an animal in, like, rabbits in other parts of the world, you know, rabbits in England, they can be little brats, but they're not really that bad. The second any extraditions animal enters Australia, it senses that K-lid presence and is like, I'm gonna commit crimes now.
All the food meant for native animals. On top of this, they break into bilby burrows and steal them. That couple...
Okay. Now I'm really starting to think he knew I was gonna watch this. Bro, pause. Just get me in to do a collab one day. I will do one of these videos. Like, what about it? What if a British animal was invasive species? I feel like it's divine providence at that stage that I come in and do one of these for you. I'm just saying.
With being hunted by invasive foxes and feral cats mean the greater bilby is critically endangered. The real reason the Easter bilby exists is to raise awareness for this, with a chunk of the cash made from selling bilby chocolates being donated to save the species. Unlike that bunny who charges me $15 fucking for a rabbit and
Fuck you, Cadbury. Fuck you. Bilby superiority.
tells me to fuck myself.
Oh my god. I'm never gonna financially recover from this.
So, in conclusion, fuck that greedy colonizing rabbit, the bilby clears.
Listen, not all of us Brits are colonizing assholes. Some of us just colonize assholes instead. Anyway, yeah, Bilby cute is what we learned from
No,
this.
this is not a video of hell. This is completely unedited,
What?
no filters footage from Western Australia.
What?
And you may be wondering, how the fuck does it look like a Terraria blood moon?
Or K-lid! No, you can't gaslight me. MoreParz, do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm stupid, Parz? Do you think that I don't know K-lid when I see K-lid? You're gonna sit there and put some K-lid footage up there and make me believe that this is Australia? I know K-lid and Australia are sort of tandemoutly aligned with each other and more or less the same thing, but you can't gaslight me believing that this is not just K-lid.
Moon. Well, the answer to that question is sand.
I don't like sand.
Here's a fun fact for you. Australia is the world's largest exporter of iron ore. And 96% of that shit is pulled out of the ground in Western Australia. And the reason we excavate whole chunks there is because the place is sitting on 55 billion, with a B, tons of ore. The whole fucking state is basically just a desert biome.
Hey, Paz, are you sure this is wise that you say this out in public like this? If America gets a hold of the fact that you have a natural resource in rich land, like, you guys have been lucky enough that you haven't had to let them be aware of the fact that you've got oil. But now that they are aware that you've got, like, a abundance of natural resources, oh boy. I mean, America already wants to take Ireland away from us. Don't think they won't do that to you guys too.
Covered in iron farms. And that iron isn't just found at
don't tell
11.
America.
No, there is actual fucking rust in the dirt and sand, which tints the whole fucking
Makes
desert
sense.
red.
Science.
And that red sand is why WA looks like fucking Caled.
That's what I'm saying. No, pause. This is Australia. This is Caled. Don't underestimate my intelligence. You think I'm stupid? You think I can't tell the difference between Caled and Australia, even though they tantamountly look rather similar to each other? I don't think you know that I know that you think that I know that you are thinking that I know that you know that I know that I'm that stupid. Yeah.
Like fucking Caled. See, as if the animals trying to kill us wasn't enough.
Yeah, but that's just your regular way of living.
Trolling and spawned a
most people who wake up in any other country other than England, things they've got to put up with: taxes, the local yobbo that's probably going to shank you for your pocket change. In Australia, the existentialism of just existing, you don't even have to leave your house without worrying about something eating you, tearing you apart, dissolving you at the biological level of neurotoxin. It's what I keep saying. People who live in Australia are just built different. If there was if the purge ever became a thing, the only country that would come out of it in a better state than what they went into it with, it would be Australia. Because the purge would just be their normal way of living anyway. It's just rather than fighting each other, they're fighting the local wildlife like it's a Tyranid invasion.
Tropical cyclone on WA's coastline. And the wind from that bad boy kicks all that red sand into the air, blocks out the sun, and turns whatever light creeps through blood f***ing red.
Dude, that's so crazy. I love science.
Genuinely thought this was Armageddon, but it is just...
You may think it's kind of scary. I think it's awesome. Science! Science! Who doesn't love science?
Just sand sending us to the tomato dimension.
Oh, we love MoreParz.
Wild sharks are taking drugs.
What?
Hey, recently, scientists in the Caribbean made quite possibly the most fucking terrifying discovery since the advent of...
Dude, you know Australia is a fucking hellscape when even the man-eating sharks need to do drugs in order to live there. Much like how I have to do copious amounts of coffee to put up with my chat on a daily basis with my streams, the fact that sharks are having to do drugs like their cocaine bear says something about the inhospitality of Australia.
Of the job application. You see, they were conducting a study on ocean pollution, and part of that study involved blood testing 28 sharks in the region. And when Shark RBT pulled two of Jaws' cousins over for a random test, they tested positive for cocaine.
What?
They also tested positive for
Cocaine
caffeine
shark?
and painkillers. Which begs the question, how the fuck did a great white shark get great white blow? Well, no, they aren't doing a Narcos season in Bikini Bottom. No, sharks having...
I can only imagine that some drug dealer must have dropped their shit into the ocean at some point, and the shark's like, "Hey, Barry, normally I'd be up for some turtle or some Barney's leg that's dipping off the side of their surfboard over there. But you know, this pouch over here looks rather tasty. Let's forget the helping of microplastics I had this morning. Well, that cocaine's looking pretty right.
Having the bloodstream of an esche in a nightclub is our fucking fault. You see, tourists and rich cunts absolutely love to swing their yachts into the Caribbean, throw...
Eat the rich. Eat the rich. No, wait, actually, that would be... You know, eating the rich would probably be less healthy than just eating straight cocaine. At least you're not getting your cocaine laced with douchebag. Because, of course, it's the fucking rich.
Parties, get shit-faced, and presumably fall into the water. And I don't know if you know this, but rich people do illegal shit, which is how some Wall Street banker decides he wants to partake in some nose beers, and in his excitement, knocks the rest of the devil's dandruff into the ocean.
Jesus.
Jaws swims along, thinks it's food, and takes a bite. And thus, hey presto.
How long before we get a movie called Cocaine Shark? We got it with Cocaine Bear. When are we getting Cocaine Shark?
Coke sharks.
First time trying a cigarette? Let's chase the buzz.
Wild
Jesus Christ. Oh, God,
this
those poor
spider
sharks.
throws its webs. Yeah, that creepy thing.
I once again bring us back to the only scene that is pertinent in this situation.
You know what? They're just running around shooting each other down there. Better just lay the exterminatus upon these heretics. All right, fire!
And that's the only appropriate way to deal with Australia. Sure, it may take out the rest of the world with it, but if it means we don't have to wake up with these gawking eyes staring at us like a Terminator that sees he got super samples, then I'm all for it.
Is an
Jesus Christ, that's
ogre-faced
nightmare
spider.
fuel!
And as with most affronts to God, yes, you can find them
Say the line, Bart.
in Australia.
Because of course.
And the reason it's got web slingers is its unique method of hunting.
What is that?
You see,
It's like a
most web-spinning
biotitan.
spiders use those webs to fucking camp, spinning it between a few branches and then falling asleep waiting for a fly to clothesline itself before casually wandering over to suck its guts out like a smoothie. By contrast, ogre faces basically pull fucking trick
Lord.
shots.
That
Because
thing is
instead of
terrifying.
shooting that sticky white stuff all over the walls, they
Gonna need
shoot it
multiple 500
on their
kgs for that
hands.
thing.
See, you may have noticed that this thing is built like an 8-legged Slender Man, and that is by design, because they start a hunt by spinning a web between their forelegs.
Oh,
Then
jeez, that
they
is
will
no!
lower themselves from a nearby branch and just kind of
I am so glad that they didn't have these in that 2001 movie, 8-Legged Freaks, because if they did, that movie would have been instantly more horrifying.
hang upside down in the air doing their best stick cosplay. Then, when something makes the unfortunate mistake of getting too close, it will lunge downwards, spread its legs, wrap the bug up in a net,
my God.
and then fucking yank it away into the air like it's hitting fucking Spider-Man pull-offs in Rivals.
Crack the whip.
And because this is an Australian animal,
I mean, I know. Spiders are good for the environment because they get rid of the pests, they get rid of the bugs. But is that really worth it? The cost of my psyche? I'm gonna have to roll a Constitution saving throw just looking at this because of all the psychic damage I'm taking.
that insect burrito would not be complete without a healthy injection of venom. And then they fucking eat it. Think about how fucking scary that is from a human perspective. Walking down the street at night, some cunt hits you with a rope and you're just fucking gone.
I hate Australia. Why is it like this? Guys, this is all your fault. I could have very happily not watched any of these videos today. I could have very happily lived my morning having forgotten most of these horrifying Aussie creatures, living happily knowing that the scariest creature that I have to deal with in England is a badger or your mum. I mean, your mum or the badger kind of take a competition for the top of the charts of the thing to be the most scared of. But yeah, I don't like knowing that Australia exists because it only takes one bit of environmental change for those creatures to migrate over to other parts of the world. They're not trying to remember the fact that England now has great white sharks for the first time in ever because of global warming. Because the waters have become habitable for them now, which means as if I wasn't going to go in the water to begin with prior to that, now I'm definitely not going into the water.
Tiny bird killed a man.
What?
But how? Well, you see, this is an Australian magpie. And why, yes,
Dude, magpies
it
are
is found
dicks.
in Australia. How could you fucking tell? But despite sharing a postcode with all the other Dark Souls enemies down here, they're actually pretty chill little guys. They got no poison, they aren't hiding a mouthful of teeth, and considering they're...
See? This is what I mean. Even the animals that are designed by Notion to be socially acceptable are not as deadly. Still find ways to kill people like they found a friggin' Mach 11 under their bed pillow.
the length of a ruler and weigh...
Woke up one morning, oh wow, I found a Mach 11 under my bed. Now I could be sensible and hand this in, or... let's raise that body count.
less than a kilo, they can't pick you up and fly off with you. On top of that, they're actually really intelligent and often will form bonds with people who feed them. Most of this, however, immediately gets thrown out the window during
It's all
the
a ruse.
magpie's nesting season.
It's all a ruse.
Or, as
They're
it
trying
is
to make
better
friends so they
known
can
down under,
subvert you and then take you out.
swooping
Sleeper
season.
cell birds.
See, because half of our wildlife would gladly turn magpies and their eggs into KFC, the second they build a nest, a switch flips in their brain and every single fibre of their being is devoted to aggressively defending the nest like they're a unit in a fucking tower defense game.
I mean, can you blame them for being defensive when they're just trying to protect their young? It's just, because they're in Australia, their natural, like, habitual levels of just existing like birds would do. A normal bird in any other country defending their nest would be like, caw, caw, motherfucker, caw. This one, nah. It makes it personal. It sees you living in Australia as a target. Oh, you're in Australia where every other animal is out to kill humans? Well, you know, this is my opportunity to resemble that remark. I too wish to kill humans. Please don't take that out of context. Please don't take that out of context. I swear to God, I'm going to get banned.
Because if you step within around 50 meters of it, they will lock onto you and dive bomb you at Mach 5 and try to peck your eyes out over and over and over again until they run you
it's like
off.
going to nightclubs in England.
And this behaviour is how in 2019, magpies caught a fucking manslaughter charge.
Guilty.
Yeah, one day a 76-year-old...
I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I killed a guy. I'll do it again. That man over there, I'll kill him. He's looking at me funny. I'll kill him.
man was riding his bike through a park in Wollongong, a park that contained a magpie nest. The magpies took exception to this and started swooping.
Could you imagine being that man? Just by getting to the park, he has had to avoid kangaroos trying to punch his lights out, snakes trying to eat him, spiders trying to dissolve him. He gets to the park, he's like, oh, I'm home free. Time for some cardio. Like the safe space. The safe space. And then the bird's like, yeah, you want to bet, mate? You want to fucking bet? I'll have your eyes, I will, you fucking cunt.
Him, and they swooped him so hard that he careened off course, crashed the bike, and fucking died.
Oh my God.
This...
Even the animals that aren't intentionally meant to be diabolically genocidal end up becoming genocidal just because they're in Australia. Oh, look. This one looks dopey and adorable. How is it going to eat children?
This bird is attempting to reproduce with that man's head. But why? Well, this adorable...
Oh, I know why. Because much like me, a hole's a goal. No, wait. If it fits, it sits? Horny! Yeah, horny! Horny is a mindset.
Horrible little guy is the kakapo. And the answer to the question basically
what now?
boils down to the fact it fucking sucks at being a bird.
I mean, what is it me for?
To begin with, its wings are fucking useless. The kakapo is...
Oh, I've never seen a more accurate representation of my chat. You may look like a bird, sometimes act like a bird, but on every functional level, you are a bottom degenerate that has only every sense of being my bitch. Tries to flourish, try to be all dominant and stuff. Well, it just takes one tentacle around your neck to put you in your place.
Is huge, weighing in at 4 kilos, which is 2.5 kilos heavier than any other bird in the parrot family, which is probably why the kakapo is literally the only parrot species on the fucking planet that can't fly.
It does look a little bit prehistoric,
He's so
though.
rotund that he just hops along the ground. They also suck at reproducing.
You know, this footage right here is pretty accurate to how my chat acts the second I go live. Oh, Makari live! Boing, 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 boing.
On the ground. They also suck at
Thank you for the
reproducing. See, in order to attract a mate, male kakapo will dig a hole, plant themselves firmly in it, and then start spamming vine booms at the...
Yeah, this is pretty accurate to my chat. Yeah, no, I look at my chat, I look back at this thing, I don't see a difference. You noisy, horny bunch of degenerates.
Top of their lungs.
Yeah, thank you for
8 hours a day for 3 months at a time. The problem is their call is very low pitched, which means that while females can feel it from miles off, they can't pinpoint where it's coming from, so they end up...
Dude, there are just some creatures that are alive that you really have to sit there and ask, how? How is your species still in existence at this point in time? Which is a question I often make about humans, but in this case, a parrot like this also begs the question.
Up alone. When this happens, the defeated male f***s off and attempts to mate with a rock. Or, as you saw at the beginning, a journalist's head.
You are being shagged by a rare parrot.
Having Stephen Fry being the one commentating that scene is just absolute cinema.
Now, by this point, you are probably asking yourself, how the fuck has it survived this long?
That's what I'm saying!
And the unfortunate answer is that it really fucking hasn't. See, the reason this feathered squeaky toy has evolved the survival instincts of a crusty sock is because it is only found in New Zealand, a place that naturally has no predators. None of what I just said is a problem when you're basically playing on peaceful.
That is up until humans get involved and introduce invasive species that are like, oh, a bird that can't fly is dumpy as hell, heavier than your mum, and basically sits in one spot for 3 months? My, that's an easy dinner!
Tragically, that little Union Jack in the corner of the New Zealand
I get it, MoreParz, you hate me!
flag means it was colonized by the fucking British. So suddenly, there are cats, dogs, and early on, people trying to turn the poor thing into a KFC bucket, and its only defensive mechanism is standing still. They're...
Wow, it really is my Twitch chat. Like, me, giant threatening slime girl that very accidentally and occasionally absorbs chatters into biomass to assert authority, and the average chatter response is to sit there staring, going, Threat understandment at 0.
The population dropped as
if you are just
low
gonna sit
as
there.
49 birds, and
What?
they are still critically endangered to this day. Certified British Empire moment.
I get it, MoreParz. Look, I and we cannot be held accountable for our ancestors. They were of a different mindset of globalization. The modern year, British The British cannot be held accountable for anything other than their own stupidity. It was a different time and a different place, filled with people of enigmatic and dogmatic propagation. Nowadays, the only thing that is dogmatic is the fact that, well, England's just full of dogs. Stop calling me out. Ooh, sunfish.
This is the world's most useless fish.
You stupid.
No, not.
Yeah, mate, that aquatic pancake is a molar, found wasting its life in ocean.
I love the sunfish solely because in Pokemon, there's a Pokemon called Stunfish. Stunfish? Stunfish! Either way, it's stupid, it is dumpy, and I love it. It's adorable.
Around the world, and they can
Not a single thought behind those
for
eyes.
the most dog shit fish build in the 7 seas. You see, these things are huge, measuring at 4
We watched an
meters
intellectual
from
video
fin
about these
to
things at one
fin,
point.
and absolutely atomizing the scales at 2,300 kilos.
Holy shit! The only thing I know on the planet that's heavier than that is your mother. Sheesh!
Putting it firmly in the same weight class as a fucking F-150.
Jesus Christ!
There is, however, a problem with that size. That is all it's good at. It spent every available stat point on being a giant floating satellite dish at the cost of spending its life as a useless fucking punching bag. To start with,
And its only defense mechanism from being eaten is that it lets you eat it. But its defense mechanism from being eaten is to be eaten is the fact that it can survive with like 50% of its body being consumed or destroyed and still be functional. Much like how I can lose 50% of my brain cells and still be considered a functional human being.
the thing can't even swim properly. Their fins, specifically their tail, is tiny compared to the rest of their body, which makes them so shit at maneuvering. The only thing they can eat is jellyfish and plankton, because those don't dodge. Speaking of food, you may have noticed that in all of these photos, its mouth is open. That's because it doesn't close.
What?
God has cursed the
It's a floating rock. It is a floating, bubbly, blubbery rock.
thing to permanently pog. Oh, but evolution is not done f***ing the sunfish yet. Because funnily enough, being the size of the average American meal, while having the defensive capabilities of a Tickle Me Elmo, makes these things perfect targets for predators. Most of the time,
I love how the universal zeitgeist, when you mention the word predator, is to think of Dr. Disrespect or P. Diddy.
just take f***ing bites out of them, realize they taste like shit, and then swim off, leaving a hole in their head, which somehow doesn't kill them.
You have
Yeah.
ibuprofen? I got a headache.
That disgusting flavor is probably due to the
That's
50
wild.
f***ing parasite species living on its body, but
No, accurate. It may not be the most functional defense mechanism because it requires you to be having a bite taken out of you for the wildlife to realize it. But if you do taste bad, well, I mean, eventually they'll get the idea.
flavor doesn't matter to sea lions, who will rip their f***ing fins off and play frisbee with them. And if you thought it couldn't get any
that's so
worse, they will
savage.
often swim to the surface to warm themselves up and let birds eat the parasites off of them, where they are promptly hit by a boat.
Oh my god.
Their only saving grace
poor
is that
creatures.
they don't process
God, these things make my chat look functional. What the fuck?
pain because their brain is the size of a testicle. They are blissfully unaware that they spend their entire
Yeah, I've never seen a more accurate depiction of chat. Brains so small, they never know when they're actually in danger. So when a giant slime girl is bearing down the corridors at them with a very hungry expression, they're like, friend? Friend!
f***ing life getting jumped. Like that. Like that.
Oh, God.
BMW, yet the car company, has an emu farm. But
Why?
what the f*** do the Germans want with our steroid chickens? Well, you see, a lot of complex
Haven't we had
parts
enough
have to come
problems with
together to build
emus?
a car. I mean, your transmission, your engine, a I would say indicators, but we are talking about BMW here. However, the first thing you'll notice about a
I should not say anything nasty about BMW because one of my bestest friends that I go to see quite frequently has a very nice BMW. And if I say anything shitty about BMW, they will make sure my heated seats are not heated. And I do not wish to reap that ire. So I will refrain from saying anything.
the car is usually the simplest. The paint.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter how nice your car is. If the paint's peeling off like a banana, people are going to assume it's a fucking shitbox.
Huh?
And that's why car companies put a lot of time and research into making sure the paint stays on your car while you slide it sideways into a tree.
Yahoo!
One of the best ways to do that is fucking clean it. See, anything that isn't wiped off the car gets stuck under the paint when it's applied, which fucks up adhesion by moving around. And even the tiniest particles of dust can fuck it all up. So, the Germans pondered, what is the best way to make sure every panel...
I'm not seeing the connection. How do you tie in emus into the cleaning process? This is going to be stupid, isn't it? This is going to be so stupid.
...is spotless. And the answer they landed on is a giant fuck-off duster made of Australia's favourite feathered war criminals.
Oh!
And it wasn't just BMW that...
Wow, for the first time in Australia's life. God, can you imagine that, right? Australia goes through an entire war with emus, which they lose, and then Germany is like, you know what? Let's make a farm with them. And then Australia's sat there going like, do I look like... Are you taking the fucking piss, mate? Australia's looking at them like going, bruh, really?
Found this out, but Audi as well. Now, Audi gets their dino turkey feathers from the source, shipping directly from the land down under.
¿Quieres?
Now, BMW used to do the same thing, till someone at head office had a thought. Hang on.
Oh no, a thought.
The feathers. If
Those
we
hurt.
ship over 4 emus and place them in a grid, in...
Oh no. Looks like the emu wars are expanding. Because I'm pretty sure that's what happened in Australia. Australia was like, you know what? We'll just get like 4 toads. And then 5 years later, Caled. Yeah, you know, we'll just get 4 toads. We'll get 4 emus. And then, you know, expeditious amount of time down the road, insert World War II themed music and gunfire as the emus are overtaking society.
Infinite feather source. And so they airdropped Australia's big birds onto a farm in Bavaria, where a small sleeper cell of Australia's most wanted resides to this day. The funny part of this to me is that BMW went so far as shipping kaiju turkeys to make the paint on their cars look good. Just for some TikToker to buy it for clout, wrap it bright purple, and then crash it into a fucking wall.
Oh, the irony. And it's all the worse, because you better hope that those turkeys, those war criminals, are being held in containment that is tighter than Fort Knox, because the last thing we need is a containment breach of emus in Germany. I suppose that's maybe ironic if that ever happens, because, you know, getting invaded by something after everything happened. Anyway.
This monkey is getting bullied.
Aww.
But why?
Why you bully me?
Well, you see, this is Punch.
Cute.
Japanese macaque whose mother, immediately after giving birth to him, went out for milk and cigarettes. So already not off to a great start in life, and things would not be getting easier for Punch. You see, he was born in captivity at Japan's Ichikawa Zoo, which meant that he was then introduced to the rest of the macaque population.
Oh no, I can only see how this will go poorly with territorialness amongst monkeys.
Alone. No parents, no
Aww,
friends.
Little baby.
Nothing. But surely, it's all up from here. He might be alone now, but at least he can start making friends with his fellow primates, right? Yeah, unfortunately, macaques treat the new kid in school about as well as...
Hey, do you guys want to see macaque? Macaque's really hairy. That was a really bad joke, I'm sorry.
Family Guy treats Meg.
I'm not sorry.
These guys
I double
have
down.
a very
More!
complex social hierarchy, and not unlike high school, it is enforced with bullying. So far, Punch has been smacked, dragged, and bitten, basically to tell him that he can't sit with them at their lunch table. And the bullying he cops is made worse by the fact there's no one to protect him because his mum, you know... And then after jumping him, they won't even let him get a fucking hug. Now, faced with such adversity, a lesser monkey would crumble and try to leave. But making the story infinitely sadder, Punch runs off to the closest thing to family he has.
Is it a teddy bear?
Orangutan, gifted to him by the zookeepers to try and replace his mum. When stressed, he hugs it and tries to get it to hug him back.
So sad.
No, I'm not fucking crying. Someone's cutting onions in here.
She's actually pretty good at that.
However, despite the absolutely horrendous character development he's gone through, Punch has finally managed to start making some friends.
Yes!
Which is good.
We take these wins.
Because for a monkey, he got off light. Had he been born a chimp, when they don't like one another, they rip each other's testicles off with their fucking teeth.
That is some mental imagery I did not need, Parz. No!
This pig.
No, that's gonna be stuck in my brain forever! Why? You know, you could have just ended the video with the good news. You could have just ended it with the funny and the adorableness of him finally making friends. But now I've got monkey ball biting in my fucking periphery. Ah!
Went on an alcoholic rampage.
Much like the cocaine sharks, once again, these creatures are realizing that living in Australia is a fucking hellhole, and the only way of getting through it is by being absolutely paralytic.
Went on an alcoholic rampage.
God,
no, that's not
How's your
clickbait.
stream?
This really happened, and as with all good drunken rampages, our story takes place in fucking Australia. More specifically, it starts in the middle of fucking nowhere, WA, where a couple blokes were out camping. And as any good Australian would, these lads brought with them the camping essentials. Let's see here, we've got swags.
Nah, you can't gaslight me. You can't gaslight me. Animals getting drunk in the wild is more of a natural thing than you'd like to believe. The amount of funny little videos I've seen online of animals eating fermented fruits and getting drunk off of the consumption, it's tantamount. There's a lot. It happens all the freaking time. So you can't tell me that a boar getting drunk off of a more direct means is anything outside the norm. It's just the medium is different. It's just more of a direct approach. They're not unintentionally getting drunk. They're being like, you know, I live in a society with a bunch of fucking humans. They all look like they have fun when they're down in their very, very long necks. So I'm gonna fucking do the same. If they're having fun doing it, so will I.
Box of snags from Woolies, and most important of all, beers. And those beers are why, at 4 in the fucking morning, these lads were suddenly ripped from sleep by a really weird sound. A low, snuffling and grunting noise, followed by the sound of bending aluminium.
Me finding out you had tins of Pokemon cards? Was it me? Pokemon cards, Pokemon cards, Pokemon cards. I smell Pokemon cards.
So, to ensure they weren't being attacked by, pick a native Australian animal, they got out of their tents, turned on a torch, and shined a light at it. And what they found was a wild pig shotgunning all of their piss. And I don't mean 1 or 2 beers. No. Daddy Pig was on a serious...
Well, I mean, at least their breakfast is sorted. They didn't expect to get tent-delivered bacon for breakfast, but there you go!
Bender, because he managed to down 18 fucking cans.
Dude, what a unit!
Now, fun fact about beers. Once you hit the 18 mark, all of your stats are redistributed into strength, and you gain the frenzy debuff. This is why, after being spotted by the torch, the pig fucking sonicked away from the now empty six-packs, knocked over the garbage cans, paused, turned around and ate the garbage, then continued sprinting to a nearby paddock where it started headbutting a fucking cow. This...
Okay. Thematically, if you change the name, if you change the pig out for me, that's just me after I've had a good time with friends. I am so high riding off the dopamine of me having a good time, I can fight God!
Really pissed off the cow, who turned around to face the pig. And it was at this point, looking up at the very pissed off Big Mac, the pig realised he genuinely wasn't built for this shit. Yeah, this little piggy turned around and fucking booked it out of the paddock, being closely pursued by the ghost of burgers past. Cow chased him around a car for 10 minutes before giving up, leaving the still drunk pig to stumble away and pass out in a fucking bush.
This just sounds very analogistic of some of my drunken nights out back when I used to drink still. God. That pig is going to have such a hangover, assume it hasn't been turned into bacon by that point.
This pig...
and this is why you don't drink and pig, guys. Because it's a real swine of a situation. Did you get it? Do you get it? Because it's funny.
Octopuses
anyway.
bleed blue. But why?
True.
Why are you blue?
Well, actually, it's not just octopuses. If you lined up Gary, Larry the Lobster, and Mr. Krabs, you will find that all of them bleed Gatorade. Now, this isn't just for aesthetic purposes. Running what appears to be blended up Smurf through their veins actually serves an important purpose. And
Is
to
it
learn
poison?
what that is,
Poison.
we got to talk about your blood. You see, your circulatory system is based on iron. Iron is used to produce hemoglobin, which in turn carry oxygen around the body, allowing for you to, exist. And when iron is exposed
I love
to oxygen,
existing.
it
Don't
oxidizes
you?
and goes red, which is why when you get shanked, sprays out tomato sauce. Now here is the fun part. The Caster SpongeBob don't run on iron. Their circulatory system is based on copper. So rather than
what?
hemoglobin, the copper creates hemomyosin to cart the oxygen around. And as anyone
that's
who's
so
ever
cool.
seen the Statue of Liberty can attest, when copper oxidizes, it turns
Yes,
blue.
I know this. Oh my god, my high school science lessons actually taught me stuff because I remember this. Guys, I think I might have some form of intelligence. Then again, me recalling anything intellectual other than the hyperfixations of video games when I was a youth. Ask me if I know anything functional. Nah, can't tell you. Ask me if I can remember a very hyper-specific mechanic from a raid boss from World of Warcraft from 2009, and I can tell you with an absolute certainty.
Now, the reason for them evolving copper is pretty simple. Our blood fucking sucks. See, the inferior hemoglobin is far less efficient at binding oxygen than the Chad hemocyanin. And considering...
I guess that just means as the human race that you all are, you need to get good. Yeah, just evolve. Evolve. Transition from iron-based hema to copper-based hema. Yeah. Do that instead. What's stopping you? Oh, you want a couple dozen centuries for that to function? Pathetic.
all of these bad boys live or travel through incredibly cold, low oxygen environments. They need to get the most out of every breath they take. They basically switched evolution teams from red to blue because red blood has a skill issue. Octopuses.
All right, we're going to watch a few more of these and I think we'll be done. Australia's Prime Minister disappeared. What?
Australia's Prime...
Australia, is everything okay? Australia, do you need to talk?
Australia's Prime...
Australia, do we need to talk or anything? Is there anything going on you want to discuss with us? Like, do you have anything you want to tell the rest of the class?
Prime Minister disappeared. No, that is not a joke. This is Harold Holt, the 17th Prime Minister of Australia. And when I say he
Why does he
disappeared,
look like Alfred
I don't
Hitchcock?
mean he retired from public life, never to be heard from again. I mean, we literally fucking lost him midway through his term. That is like the Secret Service losing the fucking president.
Now, let me be clear.
Which begs a very important question. Fucking how? Well, you see, Holt was elected Prime Minister in 1966. And one of the most well-known facts about it...
Did his Minecraft subscription run out? Did he get disconnected from the server? Did he walk into a parallel universe? Did the MCU pick him up and figure he worked better in Earth 92767?
was that he fucking loved the ocean.
Be free!
Which is why, on December 17th, 1967, while taking a day off from leading Spider Island, Holt convinced his mates to shop for a cheeky swim before they went out to lunch. And so they pulled into Cheviot Beach in Victoria. Now, on that day, the ocean was, putting it lightly, fucked. And so all of Holt's friends wanted...
Australia, and maybe just humankind as a general thing. Even when the animal kingdom and Mother Nature itself deems you not worthy of living on that island, the only thing that comes between you and your existence other than that wildlife is your own stupidity. Because if it's not Mother Nature, it's yourself. The one thing to fear more than Caled, you.
...warned him that maybe visiting Nemo today was a bad idea. Holt responded...
The Australian Prime Minister will return in Avengers Doomsday.
I know this beach like the back of my hand. Hopped into the water and started swimming away from the shore. And he kept swimming. Further. And further. Yeah, right, mate. That's far enough. You can come back now. Wait, where the f*** is he?
Where's the common sense? You know, I suppose this is the problem about living in Australia. Living in the country where everything wants you dead leaves you with a rather lacking self-preservation mindset. You know, you swimming out into the ocean to do your little hobby, you know, that's pretty par for the norm. But the problem is, because your baseline of safeness is always so high, you going out into the ocean is like, well, there's no sharks around currently. There's no spiders or kangaroos or anything else that wants to dissolve me around currently. It's only just water. That's the safest day that I've ever had. How could water kill me? You know?
Yeah, they completely lost sight of him. Because the Prime Minister was f***ing gone. This caused the leaderless Australian government to shit themselves and start playing Where's Holto?
I am under the water.
Search and rescue teams scoured the coast for weeks and came up with absolutely fucking nothing. Not even a body. The sitting Prime Minister...
Well, of course there was no body, because you've got cocaine sharks that would have just devoured him.
Had vanished
like free snack.
Without a trace.
Cocaine with a nice dessert of Prime Minister?
Say he got picked up by a submarine. The odds are he drowned. But most importantly, with the tragic loss of our nation's Prime Minister at sea, how did we choose to commemorate the man who was clapped by the ocean? Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because we named a fucking swimming pool after him.
I fucking love Australia. You guys have the funniest sense of humor sometimes.
People hate this groundhog. But why?
I mean, what is it me for?
Well, because this is no ordinary
Oh,
hog.
look at the little guy.
This distinguished
Groundhog
gentleman
Day.
is Punxsutawney Phil, a resident of the US of A, specifically the town of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
In before he makes a reference
where
to
he
Groundhog
has
Day and
a
Bill Murray.
Very important job. He predicts the weather. And he does it through the Groundhog Day ceremony. But what the f*** is that? Well, basically, every year on the 2nd of February, crowds gather at the Gobbler's Knob.
No. I am a very mature person. There's nothing funny about the naming convention of that space in particular. No. Why would anyone think anything degenerate about that naming? No, name it. No, it's fine. Totally normal name. Totally normal. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Stop laughing. It's a very serious ceremony.
Who's laughing?
Quit it.
Chat. Great faces.
And then, at dawn, the unbelievably dripped out inner circle of the Groundhog Club retrieve the allegedly 140-year-old Phil from his knob. Phil then selects a...
You know what? Phil's knob is looking really well maintained, I gotta say. I have never seen a knob so pristine. Why are you laughing, guys? I'm just admiring Phil's knob. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
A scroll from the tip of the knob based on whether or not he saw his shadow when being yanked from his home. And if he did see his shadow, winter will last for 6 more weeks. And this year, Phil has predicted 6 more weeks of Mayolt. And for some reason, this year, that prediction has royally pissed off many people online. See, I just think he's doing his fucking job. But the
sad thing is, in the modern year, this is the kind of thing people would use stakes to make bets on. Is Phil's knob gonna make the prediction of more weather? Well, I've got $7,000 riding on yes, mate.
Tweet that shared his prediction has some of the most angry yet fucking hilarious responses. And I made this video to read you the best of them. Turn him into a steak. That groundhog is going in the microwave.
No! Not the microwave!
Punxsutawney Phil, I would punt him like a football.
Why? See, this is why nobody wants to be a weatherman anymore, because all you're doing is predicting the weather off of the information you have. You don't control the weather. Like, why are we beating up the messenger? You should be trying to fight God.
And last but not least, POV, you are the deep fryer at Raising Cane's.
That's so mean. I fucking love MoreParz's bullshit humor. I fucking love it.
Scientists have created a new fish.
But why? Do we not already have enough fish that want to eat my bloody organs as it is?
And the best part is that it was a fucking accident. You see, this is a sturlefish.
This thing looks like how I feel if I don't get exactly 7 hours of sleep every night. If I get less than 7 hours, I get a migraine. If I get more than 7 hours, I get a migraine. Bruh.
And it is found absolutely fucking nowhere in the wild. No, this genetic accident is a nature mod produced exclusively in a single facility in Savosh, Hungary. You see, the sturlefish is a cross between the Russian sturgeon and the American paddlefish. And in the wild, the only way that hookup's happening is Discord, because they live on opposite sides of the fucking planet.
Hello, princess.
But this
the power
ain't
of
wild.
the power of humankind to make diabolical,
where a group of
outraged creatures
is trying to figure out how the
abominations
to repopulate the critically endangered Russian sturgeon using a neat trick called gynogenesis. But what the fuck is that? Well, you see, usually when sturgeons reproduce, the females lay a shitload of eggs in the water, which are then fertilized by the males.
Makes sense. I know a lot about fertilization. I am very scientifically acclimatized. Definitely not because I'm a degenerate that draws hentai for a living at all. Fertilization is a subject that chat would also know a lot about due to the fact that they get fertilized by my... Anyway.
Requires 2 of the same species to tango, with 50% of the offspring DNA being contributed from the egg and 50 from the source. In gynogenesis, 100% of the offspring's DNA is contributed by the mother. Now, because sturgeons can't do this naturally, the researchers hatched a plan. They would take sperm from the far less endangered American paddlefish
Why would they
and
do
microwave
that?
that
That's so
with
random.
UV radiation, destroying the DNA it carries, but still allowing it to stimulate the egg into growing without the father's DNA, and thus gynogenesis. But
Dude, we have to worry about selective parenting in our own world more than anything already. Why are we enforcing Planned Parenthood for fish? Really? Why? This is stupid.
There's a problem. The paddlefish was just a little too genetically similar to the sturgeon, and they did not leave the swimmers in the microwave long enough.
Oops.
So instead of a bunch of perfect little sturgeon babies, we got the sturlefish, which is a literal genetic dead end.
It looks like an actual genetic abomination. This actually straight up looks like something you would get from like a Dark Souls game that launches itself out of the water, or from Resident Evil 4 when that giant fish jumps out of the water and fucking eats you.
And it is incapable of reproducing. I feel bad for it. It was an accident and it gets no bitches. Abysmal existence, RNG.
Let's go gambling!
Oh, dang it. Oh my gosh. Okay.
This fish will choke you.
Please? Please? I love a little bit of reduced aeration to my brain.
Just not the way you think. See, this is a hagfish found worldwide under the sea, and this thing has one of the most fucking disgusting defense mechanisms on the...
Oh! Is this that fish that literally sheds a slimy exoskeleton of itself? I think I've seen these things before. They're slimy. And if anything, I know a lot about being slimy. Wait, am I a hagfish? Am I a certified hag? You know, let's not question this.
The planet. You see, when I say choke, you probably think I mean they loop that pool noodle-shaped body around your neck and squeeze. You are wrong. No, these guys are piss-weak scavengers that average out to about the size of a subway footlong, and despite having a f***ing face hugger for a mouth, their main defense mechanism is busting. You see, as you can probably tell by...
Well, if that didn't confirm before, I am now certified by the fact that I myself am a hag. Because that's my defense mechanism more often than not too. I'm not beating the allegations of being a degenerate.
By looking at him, these bad boys are slimy. Really slimy. And when
that is what I thought.
They use it as a f***ing weapon. Whenever something tries to eat them, they kick the slime production into overdrive, secreting a protein that instantly converts the surrounding ocean water into thick, sticky sludge.
And you know what? There are people probably lining up to immerse themselves in that slime. Because there are some fucking degenerates out there. Why go for second best? Why go for immersing yourself in that ropey, sticky nut slime when you could just come to me? Am I not the best iteration of slime? My slime's colourful and texturous and actually delightful to be around.
In half a second! And I mean, you know, a load like that in half a second, incredibly impressive. Nothing to be embarrassed about at all. This slime then seeps into and clogs the gills of their predators, suffocating them to death. Then having literally slimed their ops, they whip out an Uno reverse card and f***ing eat them. This fish
the irony. The absolute irony.
The Kraken is a real animal.
Oh, yes, it is. Giant squids.
The Kraken is a real animal. Just...
Okay, can I have this cropped properly, please? YouTube? A chance, maybe? Just a little bit of cropping, please.
The Kraken is a real animal.
Why is this not cropping properly? Hello?
The Kraken is a real animal. Just not the one you think it is.
Who's that Pokemon?
Wait, what?
You see, when people hear tales of the Kraken, they assume that
Black
a bunch
Flag-
of
Black Flag
sailors in
mentioned
the oldie times
one of the
got
best Assassin's Creed.
absolutely shit-faced and ran into a giant squid. And to be fair, that's not a terrible assumption. Giant squid are f***ing kaiju-sized, coming in at 12 meters in length and 900 kilos in weight. So the assumption that they saw that shit and
big.
rightly assumed sea monster isn't too far-fetched. However, there is a rather large hole in that giant squid theory. They don't live anywhere near the surface. They live down. Way down. Owning real estate at a depth of 1,000 meters below sea level in the Twilight Zone. So if these sailors didn't see Squidward's roided out brother, how the f*** do you explain the books of corroborating tales of...
Because, you know the term, a seaman's tale? No. Wait, no, seaman's... Either way, the creatures that the people of the older years would have seen, they didn't have a basis for what they were, so they were like, yo, that weird-looking fish? Yeah, that's a sea monster.
Of long, tentacle-like
A sailor story,
appendages
thank you.
Sticking out of the sea. Well, the answer is whales. But, where is the tentacle on a whale? Well, you see...
Now, don't ask me why I know this, but a whale's penis is 6 foot long. And a whale's ejaculation is exactly 2 to 3 gallons per shot. Which, as a fun little scientific statistic, because the whales have the biggest ejaculation of any known animal on the planet, we can scientifically and mathematically quantify that the ocean is a certain percentage of whale semen. Which means every time you go into the ocean, you are immersing yourself in a percentage of whale semen. Do with that knowledge what you will.
During breeding season, blue whales reproduce by, conducting a locomotive on female whales. And in order to keep this train running on the tracks, male whales must wait their turn. And while waiting in the lobby, in order to stay prepared, the males tend to, raise their gentleman's sausage and...
How much of a desensitized world we live in where YouTube doesn't even allow us to say the word penis. What's wrong with whale calming that terminology? I'm sorry, I'll leave now.
out of the water and wave it around in the air. And
hi, Barney.
The special sausage on a blue whale is around 3 meters long and 14 inches thick. So sailors...
Which to most creatures would be considered above average, but to the people at my local gay bar sounds like a very exciting proposition.
Who thought they were seeing a mythical monster from the depths were more than likely just seeing a pot of whales hitting weapon inspect on their schmeat.
I knew this was coming. It still sounds so fucking goofy.
The Kraken is
That will never leave my brain.
This frog deliberately breaks its own bones.
As you do.
But why? Well, you see, this is a hairy frog found on the west coast of Africa, and the reason it hits a brutality on itself, ironically enough, is self-defense. You see, these guys are...
Martin Sino Pants, is that you? Damn, Frogboy making all kinds of rounds these days.
Small, coming in at an incredibly respectable 3 to 5 inches and tipping the scales at...
You know what? I've been told very reliably that 3 to 5 inches is more than sizable enough. For a frog. But if you're going to try and shag me, if you're about 3 inches, walk on.
only 150 grams, which is a problem, because they also inhabit the ecological equivalent of a fucking FromSoft game. Africa is one of the only places in the world that gives Australia a run for its money.
Yeah.
With Mr. Frog here having to avoid birds, snakes, and rats on his walk to work. Now, in order to avoid this scenario, most frogs either run a high-level stealth build or...
neurotoxin!
Dress up like a fucking highlighter and cover themselves in everyone's favourite liquid.
Uh-huh. Now, I personally have no idea what dressing up like a... Dad? Dad, is that you? Daddy! My dad finally came home! Ah! Now, I need you all to understand that just because I look like a frog does not make me a frog. It is simply circumstantial evidence that we look similar, okay? I am, in fact, if not a succubus, a cat. Yeah, can't be a frog, I'm of a cat. I am cat. Meow. 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 Ribbit?
But the hairy frog has read one too many X-Men comics. Because this thing actually...
You know, the benefit about me, if you lick me, you don't get neurotoxin. You just get absorbed and dissolved down to the biological level to fuel my my biomass. Benefits of being a slime girl. It's like D&D. You see a slime cube, you think it looks cozy and tasty? Nah, you're its food. Look, I've been reliably told by HR that I'm not purposefully allowed to absorb members of the Kari Mansion anymore. But if you just happen to be walking along and I accidentally trip and fall on top of you, well, that's not my fault. You shouldn't have been in my way.
It has another name. The fucking Wolverine frog. Because these little guys have claws, but not traditional claws like a cat's, which are made of keratin and freely extend and retract without an issue.
Oh, does it break its bones just to give itself claws? Oh, that's horrifying.
No, instead, the finger bones on a hairy frog's hind legs are held in place by a small bone at the tip of their fingers. And when threatened, they snap the longer bone off the tip and through their f***ing skin. And then, new weapon acquired, they employ the London self-defense strategy. This frog deliberately breaks its own bones.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
This is a hairy frog found on the west.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, with that in mind, I am going to take a break and have some time to contemplate the existence I have in this world, realizing I live on a planet that it has Australia in it, and have that existentialism creep upon me like a psychosis waiting to happen. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching MoreParz. As ever with stuff like this, I always love coming back to these things when there's enough to watch to make it worth watching them to begin with. So we will probably watch more, much like Legends of Vantress, but we'll wait for more to come out in that time. So make sure you like and subscribe, go and subscribe to my friend MoreParz, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.